We'll move on and we can talk about Everton because, Paul, we know that Everton have likely complied with FFP spending rules due to some of those late sales for the first time in a number of years. How much of a relief will that be for Sean Dyche? And what do you think that's now going to mean going into the summer window? Could we see that being a catalyst for them making some big signings?
I'm not so sure big signings, but actually to be on a stable footing for the first time in a long time is so important for that club. What the supporters have been through at Everton. No supporter asked for that. No supporter deserves to be put through that. And you trust that your club is in safe hands and the trustees and the guardians of your club do the right thing. Clearly at Everton, it's not been the case for a long time. So for Everton fans to be able to go into this transfer window thinking that we can actually sign some players, that's a huge step forward for them, regardless of whether it's big name signings or whoever that may be. I know we know that Dye's coming in, that they've got a couple of other players that they're looking at, and it just puts another light on the Jared Branthwaite situation as well. Are they going to be, their hands not necessarily going to be forced by selling such a good young player at a price that they necessarily wouldn't have wanted to trade? But I just think that the biggest thing for Everton moving forward now is talk of points deduction, talk of takeovers, talk of financial instability. They can breathe. They've got their heads above water for once. And actually, Sean Dyche is going into a window with a bit of optimism rather than having to cut his cloth accordingly, get rid of players for lower offers. And he's actually going to get the opportunity to mould his squad to what he wants and bring in players that he would want to use, ship out players that he doesn't necessarily want to use, rather than his hand being forced by finances and it being controlled by others in the boardroom.
The Friedkin Group deal, Pete, is still being sort of negotiated, processed, as we discussed previously. What's the likely timeline, please, of the takeover now happening?
Yeah, I think there's optimism from Everton that this deal with the US-based group, the Friedkin Group, can go ahead and finally end all the speculation over the ownership of the club, which has dragged on now for well over a year. The representatives from the Friedkin Group have travelled over to Merseyside, visited the city, and obviously started doing their due diligence on the club as well. So, yeah, obviously we know these type of deals don't happen overnight. They do take a long time because the Friedkin Group will be looking to do the due diligence and be going through the analysis of Everton's accounts and whether it still makes sense to go ahead and do the deal. So all signs are positive. I think it's probably a matter of weeks rather than months. So I'd say between 6 to 8 weeks, there's probably a confidence that a deal can be done and the Friedkin Group can be confirmed as the new majority shareholders of Everton, taking over from Farhad Moshiri, and they can complete this purchase. And obviously Everton can move on from all the circus and the drama of the 7-7 partners takeover, which was never going to happen. But now, yeah, like Paul says, it's positive news for Everton. They're going into this summer transfer window seemingly on a stable footing, and they're making signings as well. I think Ndai's a good signing for me. He did very well at Sheffield United before he did leave to go to Marseille. Again, the move to Marseille maybe didn't work out like he wanted to, but he adds creativity to that Everton attack as well. So, yeah, it's been a good last few weeks for Everton now with this takeover getting ever closer, and also making some new signings as well. So, yeah, all positive news for the blue side of Liverpool.
One question mark that remains, though, Pete, is about the £200 million loan that 777 have. Is that likely to be paid back? How critical is that to sort out within the first few weeks to months, potentially, for the Friedkin Group?
They've already paid it. The Friedkin Group have paid that 200. They've made a £200 million cash injection into the club. So I think that includes paying off the £158 million loan. So again, massive relief to Everton that now they don't have to worry about that loan as well. And that just shows the intentions of the Friedkin Group. They want to get this deal done, that they've put their money where their mouth is, which 7-7 partners never did. They've put that 200 million cash into the club to pay off that loan and to contribute to the sort of short-term running costs of the club, which obviously 7-7 partners were doing in the hope that their takeover deal would happen. But yeah, I think real positive news that the Friedkin Group are serious and they are looking to get this deal done. And as I said, I'm sure once everything is done, they'll be looking to back Sean Dyche in that transfer market as well. So if a deal can be done before the end of August, which I'm sure the club are hopeful that can happen, then maybe there could be a bit of money to spend as well. And I think it also improves their chances of keeping hold of Jared Branthwaite under this new ownership, because there might not be a real need to cash in on those players. And Man United have got nowhere near Everton's valuation of the player as well, and I'm not sure they can get close to Everton's valuation unless United do a bit of wheeling dealing and bring in funds of their own to get towards that £70 million mark that Everton are demanding.
Is there a chance then, Pete, that he could be offered a bumper contract potentially to tie him down at the club? What do we expect for his future if he is to stay?
He's under a long-term contract as it is at Everton. Obviously, there is potential there. I think if the club want to offer him improved terms to try and convince him that his long-term future lies at Everton, I just think right now Everton will want to put to bed any speculation that he could leave. I don't think it'll go away. It could be a transfer saga that goes on throughout most of the summer. There's been talk now that Manchester City could rival Manchester United for Branthwaite as well. So a lot will depend on the player and where he sees his future. Does he see his future at Everton? If he does, I'm sure all parties will be willing to sit down and discuss a new deal, but I don't think there's any massive rush to do that right now. He's already under a long-term contract, and I'm sure Everton will just be looking to bat away at this interest and make sure that Branthwaite's still in that Everton shirt come the start of the season.
And in terms of exits, Pete, to follow that, potentially some fringe players, can we talk about any names potentially that could be leaving leaving Goodison Park this summer? Are there any names we can mention that are unlikely to be on the books next season for them?
Yeah, I think there will be a few exits. Obviously, we've seen Ben Godfrey leave already for Atalanta. I would imagine Michael Keane could be another player that could be deemed surplus to requirements at Goodison Park, especially if Branthwaite stays and Everton do bring in more central defenders. He didn't play a lot of first-team football last season under Sean Dyche, so Michael Keane might decide to move on. Again, there's going to be lots of speculation about Dominic Calvert-Lewin's future as well. He's now into the final year of his contract at Everton, and there has been interest from Newcastle in him. So if he doesn't sign a new contract or show a willingness to sign a new contract, Everton might be best positioned to try and sell him and get some money for him rather than risk allowing him to run down his contract and leave on a free transfer next summer as well. So yeah, there's obviously a few transfer situations that Everton will need to deal with for the remainder of this window. And as I said, Sean Dyche will be hoping to keep hold of most of that squad and add to it, because he doesn't want to be involved in another relegation battle next season.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.